to keep you long. Hello, program friends. Much love and greetings from Canada. I want to thank God because of this opportunity that He has given us to meet again, just to learn, to connect, to create networks, to improve ourselves, not just for the sake of ourselves, but also for the sake of the people that we love, our children, our students, our family members, our friends, and all that. Because I've always said, in whatever you gain, it is a blessing. And when you're blessed to be a blessing. And so before we start off, let me call on Moses to pray for us. Moses, please say a word of prayer. Unmute yourself.
Let's well, we are praying. Heavenly Father, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for your servants. We thank you for the blessings we've received across the globe. We thank you for putting us together, brothers and sisters, your great servants across the globe. Now, Father, before us is the meeting, and we commit it in your hands. We pray, dear Father, that the blessings be upon us, upon our generations, upon our nations, upon humanity. And bless your servants, bless Dr. Tina for all her labors. Lord, bless her hundredfold, together with all those that you've chosen to work with, oh Lord. Thank you for this hour. We commit all things in your hands. Through the precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Moses, for the wonderful prayer. When you pray to start anything, it is a sign of humility because you don't own everything. We are here today not because we made it to be here, but because God enabled us to be here. And so it is always important to acknowledge the presence of God in your life. Yeah, sometimes we do big things and we think that it's because we know, or it's because we are so knowledgeable, or we have favor before people. No, it is because God has allowed it to happen. So for you to be here and for me to be here today, it's not because of our own effort. It's because God has allowed us to meet. And so today I want to welcome each one of you to today's session on involving stakeholders and the community in education for sustainable development activities. I am excited to explore this crucial topic with all of you. And we are going to do this together with Mr. Fanuel Ondele. I hope you still remember Fanuel. Those of us who have been attending the sessions, I know you might be knowing Fanuel. I don't know, Fanuel, are you on board?
Yes, I'm on board, Dr. How are you?
Oh, so I've been wondering because I'm not seeing a mic on the other one. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Awesome. Can you say hi to the participants?
Yeah, hi everybody. It's good to see you. I know seeing is sounds metaphoric because we are on virtual, but it's good to be here, and I hope we will have a very lovely session today. Learning, the Bible says, iron sharpens iron, so we're here to sharpen each other.
Awesome. And so as we start, as always, I have always started with the mantras, and I hope you are picking 1, 2, or 3 of these to run with or to work with. Our very first lesson, I gave you MAD, make a difference. So anywhere you are, purpose to MAD. The second meeting, we talked about GBO, go beyond the obvious. Always purpose to go beyond what anybody else can imagine you can do. take an extra step and do something more than what is expected of you. For example, if you are required to attend class for, let's say, 10 hours in a week, why can't you look for extra time so that you involve those students for 11 hours instead of 10 hours? That is what I mean by going beyond the obvious. Then I said GLGL is give love, get love. Triple L means lifelong learner, purpose to be a lifelong learner. Then we talked about LIL, learn, inspire, lead. To be an excellent leader, you need to purpose to sharpen yourself all the time. Learn to look for information on conferences, trainings like this one. When you get an opportunity to learn, go there and learn. And when you receive the information, inspire and do what? And then you'll be able to lead. Then we talked about where. Work with excellence in everything that you're doing. Purpose to work with excellence. And then we talked about focus on results. Don't just do things. Purpose to focus on results. I don't know, people are saying they are not able to join. I don't know. Let me see if I can share the link with them again. Fanuel, you can continue in a short while.
Okay, now I just wanted to add something to the mantra that you started with, making a difference. And I just remembered someone, I think it must have been either a conference or I read it somewhere, that sometimes there will not be time. We just have to make for it. And if everybody, like say, if it's, I think it was an analogy of a race, like a marathon. So if it's 42 kilometers and somebody said, what if somebody there to do another extra kilometer? So you realize if you do the extra thing, there will always be no competition. And I was just looking at whatever you are saying, just to purpose to learn and to give, to share. And so if everybody would go an extra mile, I always like this, especially for educators, because many times you'll realize the government expects you to do something within certain hours. And in fact, it's timetabled. But the difference comes into the extra thing that you put in. Could be in extracurricular activities. And right now we're having the ESD programs. Some teachers choose to create a special time, like during the club meetings. But that one the teacher who goes an extra mile to learn gets more insights, and it will always be replicated in the outcome the students will demonstrate in their ESD projects. So there's always space to do more, to add more, and the results will always manifest.
Yeah, I don't know. And then we talked about NGU. I was thinking instead of NGU, I add E between N and G so that we have NEGU. Never, ever give up. And then we have FEN, forever new. Any knowledge that comes to you in whichever way, look at it as though it is forever new. When something is new, just like when you have a new car or a new dress, you will treasure that thing because it is new. But if you put it on or you use it for one month or 1 year, you start seeing it as it is, it is something that it's something you're used to, so it's not so exciting. But for knowledge, look at it as though it is forever new. Just like the word of God, anytime you read a chapter or a verse, it comes to you in a very fresh way. So the same way, I want us to learn that way. SAOK Small Acts of Kindness every day. Purpose to do something to show kindness to yourself, to others, and to the planet. And I want you to start writing down. If possible, write down the small acts of kindness, whatever has happened to you that you can call that this is kindness, or whatever that you have done that you can point on and say, this is kindness. And write them down in a book. At the beginning, at the end of the month, you will marvel at what you will have done. PAAT, peaceful at all times. The purpose
Let
to
me
be
add
peaceful.
something.
Yes.
Can I
Yes, Fanuel?
can I add something? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just remembering the small things, as much as the small acts of kindness bring a lot of positive change, it's also the small things that spoil the broth at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Great leaders will always fail out of just negligence of small things. And I think the same thing would also apply to even the failure of projects such as could be ESD or any other project. The thing that leads to failure might not be like a massive thing that comes to cause damage, except for exceptional situations like the COVID. But if the small acts of kindness can cause massive outcomes in terms of what people are expecting, the same thing can also cause harm. So it's just good to be keen on those small things so that we avoid challenges that might come as a result of avoiding them, but we just be keen on them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then we are talking about do something new every day. Point out and say that this is something new I have done to make a difference. So for you to be able to make a difference, you have to purpose to do something new. And then today I'm giving you something else that we are calling VACC. Vibrant, active, connected communities. This resonates with what we are going to learn today on involving stakeholders and communities in education for sustainable development. Remember, as we start the journey of learning, we have to make use of the 3 H, the head, the heart, and the hands. Acquire as much as you can. Put it in the head. Yeah, it is not enough to be knowledgeable. It is not enough to say that you have all the information in the world. What is important is to develop a relationship with that information in your head by connecting it to the heart. Develop some passion for it. If possible, go to the point of grit. And then if you are able to connect with the information or the knowledge that you have in your head, it will be very easy for you to implement it using your hands. So that is what we mean by head, heart, hands. And so if you're doing anything, be it you're a preacher or a teacher, if your students or your listeners or your congregation is not involving the 3 H, whatever you are doing is futile, because they will continue using the head, the head, the head, and at the end of it all, you'll not have done anything that you can call significant in their lives. But when you encourage them to involve their hearts and their hands, then they'll be able to see a change using whatever you are giving them. And so in Education for Sustainable Development, we are going in for sustainable change. And for us to go for this sustainable change, we need to purpose to have a clear direction, engage the rational mind, yes.
No, sorry, it was I was silencing something here.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so engage the rational mind, amplify what's working, always get to know why is it working and what specific actions are needed. Because when the why is clear, then the how is easy. Motivate the person, connect with feelings and identity. Make the effort, whether it is small or big, purpose to support others, train and encourage a growth mindset. Talk about growth mindset, talk about positive mindset, talk about entrepreneurial mindset. That is the mindset that will bring about the sustainable change that we want, and then shape the path. Improve on the way you are doing things. Engage as many people as possible to walk the path with you. Like you can see, I'm working with Fanuel. I am not doing this alone today. In the process, I will now allow Fanuel to take it over, as I go doing something else, and so on and so forth. Leverage on useful habits and systems. And so as we get into VACC, vibrant, active, connected communities, you will realize that when you have that unity in the community, everybody is active, everybody is happy, everybody is engaged. And so it is important to talk about why is it important for us to have a vibrant, active, connected community? Who can start us off? Why do you think it is important for us to have a vibrant, active, connected community? Anyone?
Yes, Daktari, let me before maybe someone speaks, I can add on something just to emphasize on that question,
Okay.
And probably to add. There's especially for those who are in Kenya, there's a famous a presenter on Wednesday called Jeff on Citizen TV, and he always says something at the end of either at the end of his show or before, that the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. And so I'm just trying to pick up a connection to that answer. A vibrant community is one that talks. So if there is an issue, and talking is not necessarily verbal, we can get information out of either awareness, which we can initiate, or we can see it, we can pick it up where other people have initiated it. And so it means that when we have a vibrant community, then we have got people who are raising issues as they see them, or we are part of the process. And so I believe as we look to developing a vibrant, active community, one of the reasons why we need it is so that we can raise awareness over issues that need change. Just currently, we are talking about sustainable development, and there are so many things that we are pointing to. Could be waste management, could be environment, could be climate change. So until we have created that vibrant community, we may neglect things that could bring change. And it's important to have it and to be part of the efforts to create that community.
Thank you so much, Fanuel. In Phoenix Hot 11, your hand is up. You can unmute yourself so that you talk. In Phoenix, you want to say something? Please let me have your name so that I help you. Maureen, unmute yourself.
Hello, are
Hello,
you
Maureen.
getting me?
Yes.
I want to say something on a vibrant, is it active community? It makes me think of a few words that come into my mind when I think of a vibrant community. I'm looking at a community that is working as a team, a community that communicates, a community that has a sense of belonging, where everybody knows what they need and they move in one direction. So if we were to achieve that, I think everyone will know what needs to be done in the community, will know how to help each one, and the community will be, oh, sorry, another phone is ringing.
Sorry.
Hey, sorry, the phone was ringing somewhere.
Okay.
So that is what came into my mind when I saw that. I'm visualizing a community that is moving in the same direction, a community that is helping one another, a community that understands itself. That is what I thought I would say.
And Maureen, please introduce yourself. Where are you coming from? Maureen?
I'm Maureen Sportamlendema. I'm coming from Zambia.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zambia, for joining the meeting. And how are we going to have an active, connected, vibrant community then? Who can try that? Thank you, Maureen, for your contribution. Who can try that? Maureen has told us why we need a vibrant.
I would like to try that.
Thank you so much. Go on. Introduce yourself.
I'm Sister Mary.
Yes. And say from Kenya or from Uganda.
Actually, I claim both countries.
Good.
Anyway, yes, but I'm now more of Kenya.
Okay.
Now, your question is to the reason why it's important to have a vibrant, active, connectedness community. Is it that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I think the reason why we need to have a vibrant, active connectedness community is through the process if we can partnership and collaborate, because we are not an island. So with the collaboration and the partnership, we are not on our own, and we can do a lot. Just like in this forum, is just like a small little thing that we come out from here is really going to make a difference outside there. So the importance of having an active, vibrant community through partnership and also collaboration is to help us. For me, the main topic now that we have here, the cream of the topic, is sustainable development. How are we going to sustain the future of the next generation coming after us, even 50 years or 100 years? It's the little thing we are doing here. And only if we are connected and we can collaborate and we are vibrant. Without us being vibrant, is like a dead sea. No input and no outlet. That is the image I can give. So when we are vibrant, we are safe in a way that our future generation is also safe. And for me, that being vibrant starts right from the womb. So if the womb escapes us, now we have to reconnect with those who are outside there and start being vibrant by just doing these little things and passing the positive messages that help us to think positively and be active. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. For those who are using the chat box, Maurice has said through public participation and Benta has said through networking. Thank you so much. And after asking why, you know, as I've always said, when the why is clear, if you can write this, please write it down. This is a very important statement. When the why is clear, the how is easy. Always when we are doing something, like we are looking for a way to make our communities connected and vibrant, we must always purpose to answer the question, why do we need a vibrant, active, and connected community? And so if that answer is clear in our minds, the way we have just answered it, then how to do it becomes very easy. Who to involve? It's not going to be a struggle. And where to get this connectedness, to get this community that is active and vibrant will not be a challenge. When to have it will not be a challenge. And if we have a connected community that is active and vibrant, what we can do together cannot be measured. We will be able to do so much than we can even imagine. Because we always say that together, everyone achieves more. Team, isn't it? So if together everyone achieves more, then if we are able to connect with the community next to us, around us in our ESD endeavors, then we will be able to achieve quite a lot. Don't look at a small child and say, this one cannot do anything. Involve everyone if possible. Now, who is a stakeholder? Fanuel, who is a stakeholder?
Now, before I even answer the stakeholder, I'm just trying to connect what you have just said with the last person who was saying that it has to start from the womb, and I'm taking it as a metaphoric feeling.
Yeah.
So if to say it starts from the womb, perhaps it could mean that we start the planning early. So that gives us to the puts us to the question of why. So the answering of why then creates that environment of understanding the growth process that we'll have to engage in as we answer the how part of it. Next to the next thing of a stakeholder. When we talk about communities, there are many parties in it. We could talk about communities in terms of the immediate surrounding, maybe if it's a school, the immediate community, but even in that community, there are also persons who either stand out because of their roles or stand out because of their position or their voice in the community. And in my thinking, I would then consider a stakeholder as any of these parties who has an interest in the initiative that we are having. So it could be an ESD project or any other item related to whatever that we are doing. So any of this, any person who has an interest, and an interest means that whatever we're doing, it can affect them positively or negatively. So any of these parties would make our stakeholder.
Wow, thank you so much, Fanuel. Anyone with anything else to add to what our facilitator has given us? Who is a stakeholder?
May I try?
Yes, who is that? Let me see. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Christine. I will add that it is very important that we have known who is a stakeholder. Actually, when we are going back to the creation, we are all created in the likeness of God, so we are one. And of course, we have been embraced with the special, unique gifts, and that's why it becomes very, very special and very unique in the sustainability of bringing change. And I could just jokingly ask that, what is change? Change is the one that it changes by itself, yes. Anyway, I want really to congratulate each one of us, more so Dr. Christine, for initiating this, because echoing the book of Francis, Laudato Si, we could see how really it impacts us and how we came one. And like Doctor was saying, no matter what we do, no matter how small it is very, very important. Just because of that, our uniqueness. Yeah, first of all, because of our uniqueness as human beings. So what I bring, what other people also bring, together we make it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Who else wanted to say something? That was Sister.
Yes, I wanted to say that a stakeholder are the people around us, and we have a common goal or a common idea to aim at fulfilling. I would say, like in a school setup, the stakeholders are those who are interested in the growth of the school. It will be chief, the priest, the community around. Those are the stakeholders because they have interest in this particular project or in this particular place. So the stakeholder in summary, I would say those who are having an interest in a given project.
Awesome.
And there are different people, yes, yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so that means that in whatever activities that we are doing in education for sustainable development, it is important to recognize the individuals or groups who have an interest in what we are doing. And if we recognize them, then it is important to understand their perspectives, which is very key to successful implementation of whatever project that we are talking about. Like when we were training, when we were initiating the model, the ESD model centers in Kenya from the year 2018, we did something unique as the Kenya Education Management Institute. Sorry, I have to continue talking about Kemi because Kemi made me who I am today. We invited stakeholders for training. We didn't just invite the principals. We didn't just invite teachers. We invited stakeholders of a school. So we had representatives, yeah? We had representatives from the county director's office. So it was either the county director of education or a representative from his office. We had a representative from the sub-county of the school where the school is. We had a representative from the board of management of the school. We had a representative from the parents. We had a representative from the teaching staff. We had a representative from the support staff. We had a representative from the students. Actually, for students, we were having two of them. It was, if it was a school with the two gender, male and female, then we invited one boy and one girl. But if it was single gender, then we requested for two students to come, a senior and a junior. And you can imagine in that workshop where we have all these people forming a family, from children of primary schools through to students in the university as students. And then we have the officers sitting in the same common room for training. It was really enjoyable. One day I will show you the picture where all of them were. And the elders were learning from the young were learning from the older people, and it was marvelous. And so to have a stakeholder, it means everyone that is concerned about what is happening in that institution. So not leaving anyone out. No one is inferior when it comes to sustainable development activities. Now, we have been talking about who a stakeholder is. Let us look at the importance of involving stakeholders and the community in sustainable development activities. What are the strategies for identifying and categorizing stakeholders in sustainable development projects, Fanuel? Mr. Fanuel, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one of the best strategies, not even the best because there are very many best strategies, but there's a mantra that you talked about, and it's being replicated even in the pictorial that you have shown, the essence of teamwork. It all starts by formation of a team. And a team, there's a place you have said that everybody has got a role to play in an ESD project because I'm keeping it in a school setting and looking at even the example that you said that you followed when you're setting up the model centers at KEMI. And the identification of the stakeholders that you had, and then to have them in a joint training in a room. I believe going forward, for most of the schools that took it up, it has only been successful because of the essence of everybody working towards achieving that goal. So one of the things that we really need if we have to have a successful approach is to work as a team, because at the end of the day, everybody has a role to play. The teachers, the students, the representative from the parents, representative from the support staff. It's always said that a cord of 3 strands can never be broken. So what if it is 4 or 5 or 6? Then we make it more tight and more tight. And that means we increase the chances of success, be it in anything that we'll say we want to do. And that means for the teachers, for the teachers who have active clubs, strengthening them would mean increasing the size of the team. Because the growth of a team means we are bringing diversity in terms of skill, in terms of different perspectives and worldviews, because everybody comes in with a knowledge of something they have learned from wherever they are. And when you add into that cocktail, the outcome is success beyond whatever had been expected. So that would be something that I think it would be if I was to put them in terms of priority, that would be the first. Identifying the people who could play different roles, and then assigning them the roles, and we're then working together to achieve that goal that we want.
Good. And so that means for us to see the importance of involving stakeholders and the community in our activities, it is important to take cognizance of the vision that we have. What do we want to achieve? Yeah. Why are we doing what we are doing? What results do we want to see? And so we have to look at who is going to help us achieve these results. What are the strategies that we are going to involve? What are the goals that we want to achieve? How are we going to ensure that growth is happening? Because when we are talking about involving stakeholders, not all stakeholders are at the same level. And so we have to look for a way to ensure that there is growth, to bring everybody to par. Probably we could be thinking about capacity building. If it is an idea that we have come up with, we have to share it out. There are those who will not connect with the idea immediately. So they will need capacity development for them to get to the level of understanding what exactly we want to achieve. There will be aspects of research. Even as we are talking about involving the community, we have to do a lot of research to get to know who fits in to come and join us in achieving the dream, achieving the goal that we want to achieve by engaging in whatever we are doing as an institution or as a family or as a church, and so on and so forth. And remember, even as we talk about the stakeholders, we have to look for people who are innovative. How innovative are they? For them to bring in their innovations for us to be able to succeed in whatever we want to succeed. Are they people who can connect with us easily, or they are people that we will struggle to connect with? It is very easy to work with people you can connect with easily. If you are able to connect, then you'll be able to work as a team with a lot of ease. And so, when involving stakeholders and the community, it is important to consider several aspects, such as the culture, the belief, the traditions, the diversity, ethnicity, the nation. Like now we are talking about training or a learning session where we are bringing on board everybody from all over the world. Maureen told you that she comes from Zambia. We have people here from Ghana. We have people here from South Sudan. We have people here from Kenya. We have people, you know. So if we are talking about a project that will bring these nationalities together, it has to be a project that resonates with every nation or all the nations. So whatever you are thinking about, for example, when we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, the Sustainable Development Goals cut across all the nations. That is why when we discuss matters education for sustainable development, it's very easy for anybody to plug in to come and learn with us. And so, yes?
Thank you. Let me just add something, especially from the previous slide of strategizing. Go back a bit. It's I was just looking at, yes, exactly that one. I'm just looking at these different stakeholders, and one thing that cuts clearly is we have two categories of stakeholders as represented here. There's the internal and the external stakeholders, and that would point to the point that you're saying currently. So when you're looking at something that has to impact the globe, the starting point would be to see who is closer to you that you would reach out to. If we have to make something that has a global impact, we obviously have to start at our local scene and see if we can have that, if we can identify some internal stakeholders, people who are very close, and others like the government, others like the community. They would still be active stakeholders, but from an external perspective. So when we have built a team that comprises, that has got the internal stakeholders buying and understanding the vision and the goal and the strategy and the growth process, then when we have to go external and reach out to the government and other persons that form the second layer of stakeholders, it becomes easy to gel and to make up progress. So even as we look at like right now, when we have people of different nationalities, if I have to make something that would impact students in Ghana, in Rwanda, or in Malawi, I'll have to see, is it working internally? And internally, is it working for me in my school, then in my community, then as we advance forward? Otherwise, I think it's a lovely process to look at it from the global, looking at, as in taking the global concept and having an impact at the local stage. Then a replica of the same will give us a global impact.
And so that is what we are calling glocalization. Glocalization, exactly. Means thinking global, but acting local. Yeah, thank you. Continue, Fanua.
Yeah, that's the point. It's back to you. I talked about the globalization aspect. I thought of adding that.
Thank you so much. And so when identifying stakeholders, there are so many things that we have to put into consideration. The suppliers, the competitors, the associates, the owners, customers, employees, students, the financial community, and so on and so forth. And so for us to have an effective stakeholder engagement, these three things are very, very important: completeness, responsiveness, and materiality. Who can try to explain what these three things are speaking to you? When I'm talking about effective stakeholder engagement and I'm talking about completeness, what do you understand by that? Just unmute yourself.
Hello, Dr.
I think
Robert, and then
yes,
Benta. Yes, let's start with Robert.
About completeness. I think this takes us back to what we have just discussed in terms of the teamwork. That completeness will look at every member of this particular team, and that each member has a role to play. And they will all contribute towards the success of the team. So that is what I would perceive is the meaning of completeness. That the activities of every member is going to count because it will finally contribute towards the success of any given activity or endeavor. Then materiality, to me, will again be something to do with one, the resources. Whenever you begin an activity like even a business, there must be something, there must be a driving force. Finance will then come in, labor will come in, and therefore, which are these driving forces that will make the activity to succeed? Even the ideas will be part of what will then make this to succeed. So that is my perception of materiality and completeness. And I think there was a third one which you mentioned, I don't know which one it was. There were three things you had mentioned, Doc. There is completeness, materiality, and
she's talked of responsiveness.
Okay. I think somebody will have to contribute as far as that's concerned. But regarding the two, I think that's what I may give.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Benta and then Marcella. Sister, I've seen you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. once more. I'm Sister Benta from Kenya. Okay, when I hear this word completeness, what comes quickly in my mind is, that that willingness to serve, yes, willingness to serve, and to serve others, and genuinely also, yeah. So my interest will be others, yeah, to empower others. And then when we talk of the second one, just like my brother has said also, I was thinking of the resources. And in this case, human resource is core, it's very, very important. And then also the finance, and of course, the labor itself. And then if we want to engage, we want to throw ourselves and, take the risk and take it and hold it, or own it. Thank you, Doctor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I like that part, that aspect of engaging others and the honesty part of it. Sister Marcella Momanyi. Go ahead. Marcella, your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Could I say something?
Yes, please.
While she is preparing. Yes, I'm looking at the completeness. We look at the project, and then we look at the goals, the road, the requirements, and the controls. So in this, we look at the people or the stakeholders who are going to play the roles to achieve the goals. So we look all the aspects that are going to be involved in the aim or in the effort of reaching the goals of the project. So you look at all the corners. That is for 3 weeks.
Okay. Thank you so much. So in essence, we are talking about strengthening engagement capacities. We are talking about design, the process, and engage. We are talking about being able to act, being able to review, and being able to report. When we are talking about responsiveness, that aspect of doing what we are doing together, reviewing what we have done by looking at the results, and then reporting to the same stakeholders the results of the review. Really very, very important. That brings the aspect of feeling like you are part of the whole process. And then thinking strategically. It is important to map the stakeholders, identify issues, set strategic objectives together, and then prioritize what needs to be done. And then go ahead, analyze, and plan. After which you go out to start doing it together as a team. And by so doing, that means that now you have everybody on board and nobody has got any issue to complain that they are not being taken care of. And so listening to one another is very, very important. It doesn't matter whether you are the principal or the director or whoever. So when we want to have that connectedness, it is important to walk and work at the same level. Now, for us to understand community engagement, in advancing education for sustainable development, it is important to talk about diversity. It is important to talk about equality, and it is important to talk about inclusion. What do you understand by these three terms? Diversity, equality, and inclusion. Who can go first? Fanuel, you want to start?
Yeah, and before that, there's something I had I wanted to talk about, or just a question. If we're talking about the effective stakeholder engagement, I think the three aspects that you have just talked about have got an element of something being holistic, because it covers different aspects of the strategies that we want to use. So maybe to that extent, then it would be holistic to that level, because it comprises the inputs of different persons in different strategies. Then the other aspect of the community engagement, diversity, equality, and inclusion. About diversity, there's something that has always been talked about either in trainings or maybe in the course of just learning, that strength in a team lies in its diversity. So different people come from different professional, cultural, social backgrounds. And when they come together and they bring their ideas, so that diversity in the different dimensions is key to the success of a team and to the success of an activity or a purpose that is in consideration. There's equality and there's equity. So the equality would mean that we are trying to have a balance, that at least everybody has a share in terms of contribution, a share in terms of the outcomes that we are getting. And then the other aspect is inclusion, that we're including everybody. I would love to talk about it, maybe like in a class setting. Sometimes, or just it's normal to have students who are gifted differently. We have students who, apart from being gifted differently, maybe they have got challenges in some way. So if we have got something and if we are working on an ESD program that should be inclusive, then it means we are keeping into consideration every person, every student, every stakeholder, irrespective of the differences they could be having, could be impairments. And that would mean, and I've seen some ESD model centers of persons like that. There's a school in Ghana. I think there's one, I don't know if that lady is on board. She could give us a good example of how they are doing it. Teaching students who have, I think it's visual or hearing impairment. And their approach is nice because it helps them to also see the world just like any other person. So if we are working on something, then we're looking at how inclusive is it in terms of involving different persons in the society, in the school, or in the community that we're having. And then I would want to add something on equity. And equity is a very interesting part because it means that everybody is not really being equal, but whoever is on board has got an equal probability of achieving that which every other person is achieving. Let me make it clear. There's a picture that has always been shown of people who are watching football across the fence. And then there's a very tall person, and then there's somebody who is short, and then there's the shortest. You get that superlativeness. So equity would look at whoever that is short and can see clearly. Then that person doesn't need to be given a support to see the field, but then it could be given to somebody who is short so that they can climb on it and they can have the same view of the field, same to every other person. So that would still work for our ways of building up ESD projects or centers, so that where we have, and that would maybe look at schools. So if we have got schools that are endowed with the capacity to do certain programs or activities, and there are others who still have the affinity to do that, but then they are limited in some way. So when we have a model that has to cater for all this, so the equity would mean that we put resources where they are due, so that we don't neglect. So we don't focus on just balancing it for everybody, because we might end up with having people who may not necessarily need, but then they get it. And that's how our society is. So to my feeling, apart from the three, it's also important to consider the elements of equity in our programming. Yeah, back to you. I think you are on mute, Daktari.
Sorry, thank you so much. I was saying thank you so much for that. Equity is really very central when we are talking about community engagement in advancing education for sustainable development. Thank you, Fanuel, for that. It is also important to talk about volunteerism. And I want to ask James Kisenge. James, are you in the meeting? James, please unmute yourself. James Kisenge, are you able to speak to us? I can't. You indicated that you're here, but I can't see you. James, are you there? Okay, James is doing very well when it comes to volunteerism. And one way of involving the community is through volunteerism. Volunteerism is actually that act of contributing free labor to conduct community services or support a non-profit organization. Most non-profit organizations in the world really make good use of volunteers. When you volunteer, what you are able to do without expecting, let's say, a pay, that means you are serving the community voluntarily. It is the principle of donating your time and energy towards a greater cause, because sometimes we will want to do big things, and if we don't get to the level of volunteering, these big things will never be done. And so volunteers help change the lives of those in their communities as a social responsibility rather than receiving a financial reward. A good example is the platform that we are using. We are learning on matters education for sustainable development on this platform because I volunteered to pay for the Zoom link, I volunteered my time. I volunteered to really look for you, to invite you to the meeting. Sometimes I use more than an hour just to send invitations. And then I volunteered to look for collaborators like Fanuel and others, the expert facilitators who've also volunteered to come and share their expertise with us. You know, so volunteerism can impact in a big way. So volunteering is important because it enables people to help and serve others in a selfless way. When individuals take the initiative to help people in the community and support philanthropic causes, it can improve the community as a whole by creating tighter bonds and forming lasting relationships. Fanuel, do you have anything to talk about when it comes to volunteerism?
It takes the heart. Many times, especially doing up a service, most people would always look at it in terms of what are the returns, especially if it involving experts. But it takes the heart to give. There's a famous saying in Kenya. There's a Swahili saying, although I'll translate it, kwamba kutoa ni moyo, usambe ni utajiri, and which means that to give, it's just the heart. Usambe, I don't know what that would mean, but let me talk of the first part. To give anything, it takes your heart. And so that thing that we have to give, be it time, be it money, be it expertise, then it means you have to build the heart for it. Otherwise, if we'll ever think of getting rich so that we can give, it might be a dream that we may never achieve. And one good thing, or one good thing with volunteerism is like what the Bible says: the blessed is the hand that gives. Every time you volunteer, you add yourself knowledge, you do networking, you do collaboration. In the end, you realize you benefit more than even what you're giving. So if we would cultivate that, if we make it like that is your, to make it like your personality, that's the norm, then you'll never have to bother of whether there will be a financial return or not. But in the course of doing that, the outcomes that you get out of it is just immense. I would give, not to take so much time. There's a story that I read of somebody who, it must have been a vet or somebody who is just taking care of animals. So there's a snake that had fell in a pit. And then this person was trying to remove the snake from the pit. And so every time that person was trying to remove it, to scoop it up from the hole, the snake would try to bite back. And then another person was just watching and wondering, how come this person is just continuing to try to rescue the snake and the snake is biting him? So finally the person managed. And then this guy was just looking and then came closer and asked, how comes you're just risking your life to do this thing? And then the person gave a very interesting answer, that it's the nature of the snake to bite, but it's my nature to help it. So that perspective of looking at it means that if we have the nature of serving, then it will not bother us of the negative outcomes, because sometimes we may not really be focused on getting the money, but maybe we are expecting to get any other benefit out of it. But then if it has to just come from the heart, that we are doing this for the good of it, especially if it now benefits the society, the results will just automatically come and they'll be awesome.
Wow, thank you so much. Anybody else wants to add something on volunteerism? Sister Mary, I know you love volunteers. Can you say something about volunteerism?
Yes, Daktari.
Yes.
Usually, as Fanuel just shared about it, that it comes from the heart. It's not being forced, but generally, when sometimes we have a volunteer, like maybe from Germany or where, in which other part of the country, but they come with their own expertise to give back to the community around to improve the life of the community. So volunteer, you do something, not looking at it in money form, but you look at it, you want to improve the life of the society around freely, without string attached, without wanting to get something back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So maybe let me ask each one of us, how many times have you volunteered to do something this year? Anything? Can you just write on the chat? How many times have you volunteered? Just write on the chat. If it is 10, just write 10, those that you can remember. Let's see the list coming. How many times have you volunteered? Yeah, 3, 15, none, 2, 5, most of the time, 3, many times, several times, 2, more than 10. Good. So in essence, what I'm saying, it is important to note. Of course, you're not looking at it like, oh, I volunteered, but it is important to note when you are really giving out yourself wholeheartedly for the benefit of someone else. It is really very, very important. And so we have benefits of stakeholder involvement. If you look at this picture, each one of us has got some light. And if we put our little lights together, we will definitely make a big light. And so the book of Proverbs 15 verse 22 talks about plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. When we have many of us with our wisdom together, coming together, learning together, engaging one another, and involving collaboration, communication, and consultation. These 3 C's are very, very important when it comes to stakeholder involvement. When you involve proper communication, proper collaboration, and proper consultation, you will definitely see the results, just like this bulb is showing. And so, it means then, if we are collaborating and we are engaging stakeholders, we are engaging communities, it is important to think about building partnerships. Now, let us discuss strategies of building effective partnerships with stakeholders and community members. Who can start us off? Who can start us off?
Yeah, let me start off, and I'll start from where you started at the time for making dealing with stakeholders. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first part would be identifying the purpose. Why would we need person X? Mm-hmm. Knowledge of purpose. Purpose is key because it helps us to know the direction. It's always say that the direction is knowing the direction of movement is better than the speed, because you can go fast without a purpose and you'll arrive at nowhere. But first, mapping out the purpose is like now identifying the direction. And so knowing that direction would is very critical to know at what point do you need this person, at what point do you engage this person, at what point do you need any extra support that you need. And so building partnerships is very important, but a partner should come and should join a train that is already moving. Although sometimes we need partners at the time of consultation. There's just the verse that you've just read, that a nation is established by good plans or counsel. I'm not quoting directly, but it is in Proverbs. And so if we put our heads together and identify that this is what we want to achieve, and this is the purpose why we are doing this, then bringing other people on board becomes easy, so that we do not derail the plan we have when we now invite diversity of thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Who else wants to contribute to this? I want you to look at this picture. Just look at this picture. Leave alone the one that the partners are now holding hands. Is this familiar to us? Dr. Kilonzo, please go ahead. Dr. Kilonzo, Timothy, unmute yourself.
Yes, Dr. Christine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was just sharing something a bit on building partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It is always good if before you build a partnership,
mm-hmm.
you understand first of all the culture of the group or the organization you want to build a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Their values, their beliefs, their attitudes, so that you can actually know the entry point that will make them comfortable as you join them, mm-hmm. or as you partner with them. And also to look at how can the partnership
mm-hmm.
have a mutual kind of benefit. It should be two-way, mm-hmm. so that it is not one-sided. So that's the strategy I wanted to contribute, Daktari.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just like you've said, it is two-way. You see the way these two hands are holding at the middle, at the same. If you look at the length of the sleeves, it is the same. The hands are at the center. We are partners. Yeah, that is what it means. That it's not leaning too much on one side and lesser on the other side. And so when we are building effective partnerships with the stakeholders and communities, it is important to understand that we have to have a shared responsibility in the project that we are working on, so that each of us, or everyone that is involved has got a say. Now, when we talk about communication, it is important to talk about communication and transparency. I want us to go to breakout rooms and discuss these three questions. Discuss the importance of clear communication and transparency in stakeholder engagement. And then, what are the barriers to communication and transparency? And then discuss suggestions to each of the barriers that you have identified as a team. After that, we will come back and then we will be winding up our training very, very soon. So I want to take you to breakout rooms. Are you ready to go to breakout rooms? I want to hear a shout, yes. Then I open the room.
Yes, yes, Dr. Yes.
Yes. So when you get to the room, yes. Good. When you get to the rooms, please open your mic. Don't be quiet. Eh? Open your mics and start discussing. Start discussing. So you will be between 6 and 7 in a room. Any one of you can take lead. Kindly join your room.
20 minutes, Daktari?
15 or 10. Let's say 10. Please join your room. I've opened the rooms. Is everyone back?
Yes, I'm back.
Awesome. So let's wait for the others. 16 minutes, they will be with us. Oh, sorry, 4 seconds, not minutes. Good, everybody is now back. Awesome. How was your conversation?
She learned that making a difference in the community requires sacrifice and willingness to serve. Dr. Renata spoke to Gloria from Lesotho. Rating is there, maybe in one of two languages, depending.
Okay, friends, thank you so much. Who wants to give us a brief? Because we don't have a lot of time. Who wants to give us a brief? What did you find out? Yes, Benjamin. Oh, nice. Nice to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes.
All right. So I want to move very quickly. In room 3, we were 4 of us, and on the first item of discussion, we came up with why it is important to have clear communication transparency in stakeholders. We said, one is to build, to ensure we have got trust among the members. When you have got clear communication and the transparency, you'll find there's minimal wastage of resources, including time. Then we said, with the clear communication and transparency, a lot of ideas are shared among these stakeholders. When it came to barriers, we said one of the barriers which we can have, especially when you want to have the communication and the transparency, it is cultural tendencies, some beliefs, where in some communities, some members are not given a chance to contribute, to share their ideas. There could be age differences where you have got a mixture of young people and let's say old people. Related to the culture, you might find that those who are very aged, they might not take seriously the ideas which are being brought about by the young people. Another barrier could be language. In a situation where among the stakeholders, they don't share the same language, then you'll find when it comes to communication, some stakeholders might be disadvantaged. The fourth point under barriers, and this one I want to share, it is different levels of education or the degree of illiteracy can also be an hindrance to very smooth progress in terms of communication and transparency. I want to not finish because of the time given, and that is what I needed to say on behalf of the other members of Group 3. Room 3.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. That was a good discussion. Any other group that would like to share their insights?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Yes, this is
Group 8.
Group 8?
Yeah, Group 8. Yes, my name is Onanga from Alliance. And we were 4 in our group. We were not able to do much. We did part 1 of the task. And one of some of the points we had is that communication, when there's clear communication, then the stakeholders are comfortable. because they'll understand what is required of them. We also said when there is good and clear communication, then the instructions are taken better, leading to efficiency. We also said when the communication is clear, all the partners are able to understand it, so it's progressive in nature. And we also said that proper communication acts as a basis of coordination. Awesome. So unfortunately, that's what we were able to do. We were able to get to that part only.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Say hi to Alliance girls. Nice to see you.
I'll do that.
Oh, nice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Finally, group 7.
Yes, group 7. We talk of the importance of clear communication and transparency stakeholder engagement. One of the things we talk about is to achieve the goal of the project. If there is clear communication, then the goal of the project will be achieved. Another thing we talk about is the clear communication will help with the focus on whatever is being focused on, then people can stay focused. And then we briefly talked of the barriers to communication and transparency. One of the barriers is lack of involving the community. If somebody starts a project and you don't involve the community, then that can act like a barrier. Another thing is the culture, the diverse culture. If it is not appreciated among the people, and then you don't understand even the culture and you bring a project, then that can act like a barrier. Another barrier is failure to set goals and objectives. If the goals are not clear from the beginning, and that can be a big barrier. Then another one is the age differences. Then we talk about the solution to those barriers, like with the culture differences. We learned that it's very important to understand the culture before even coming together. So that that is one of the solutions. And again, the age differences is just to appreciate that each age can bring the giftedness in the group, to appreciate not the .comers and the analoguers. We embrace all of us. So we didn't discuss all the point of the solution, but that's what we came up in group 7. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Every group wants to speak. Oh my God, now what will I do? Picky, ponky. Okay, finally, group 6. Very brief. Group 6, where are you? You've said please.
Yes. Yes, Doc. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Allow me to give a report of our discussion in Group 6. Although a number of points have been mentioned here, and let me just go through those that have not been mentioned. Point 1 is on when we have effective communication, then the members of the two parties get interested. They have got satisfaction in all that they are discussing, and so this also helps in building interest in whatever is being discussed at a given time. Secondly, we also came to a point of talking about transparency and trust. So if we have got effective communication, then the two parties become very transparent, and they're able to discuss everything on the table without hiding anything from the other party. Now, coming to the barriers, one of the barriers we talked about here was poor listening skills, a situation where there could be a point of discussion, but then because a member of the party is not listening well, you may not be able to grasp every content of discussion, and so this may not augur well with the future or the progress of the partnership. I think we did not get enough time to look or to provide the solutions, and so maybe I may hand it there because of time. Thank you,
Can
Dr.
you carry on that discussion in your home, in your school, in wherever you are, so that you are able to implement whatever project you're doing effectively by involving the stakeholders. And remember, when we talk about communication, it's not just one-on-one, as in person communication. It could be online, it could be through phone, it could be Twitter, it could be whatever, Snapchat and whatever kind of communication. We need to know, we need to identify the barriers, and we should always look for solutions to overcome the barriers, because if we are able to overcome the barriers, then the next side, beyond the barrier, there is an opportunity. And mostly the opportunity is an opportunity to grow, is an opportunity of growth. And so participatory approach is very, very important when it comes to communication and transparency. Let everybody be free. Create an environment that will allow everybody to be free to participate. If you look at the environment that is just demonstrated by this picture, there is no barrier in between. There is no table. When you are talking, like round table talking, avoid the tables as much as you can. In Education for Sustainable Development, we encourage people to sit in circles without a barrier in between. And so stakeholders need to be involved from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. That means from the designing, data collection, analysis, the doing, the reporting, and finally the management of the project. It is also important to empower your communities. There are several empowerment strategies that we can use to ensure meaningful participation of community members by allowing them to stay positive, give them support, identify the leaders, and have them get some roles among that community. Listen as much as you can, encourage risk-taking, encourage them to take risks, because if people don't take risks, then we cannot see anything happening in the community that we can say that there is an impact or there is a difference. Remember to show appreciation. Most leaders fail because they don't appreciate what their juniors have done. So it is important to just say thank you. That child has watered that plant. Just say thank you. So this child will get to understand that, oh, so what I've done is really appreciated. It is good. So I will do it again. And then give up control, develop autonomy, as in allow others to lead. Yeah, allow others to take lead. If we look at the book of Romans 12:4-5, it says, for just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. So if you use this verse of the Bible, I'm sorry, even the Muslims or Hindus that are here, you can still use this, because the Bible is a text that you can read. It's only that I'm a Christian, that is why I'm getting several quotes from the Bible, and they are quotes that you can use even when you are facilitating learning. Yeah, it is one body, but we have different parts, and each part has got its own purpose. And so collaboration is very, very important, because each member has a valuable role to play in the collective effort towards sustainable development. Now, if we look at real-life examples of successful stakeholder engagement and community involvement projects, there are quite a number. But as much as we are talking about success of the projects that are seen out there, it is also important to look at the foundation. What is at the base of it? You will notice that at the foundation, we have virtues, we have values. There is the aspect of solidarity. There is the aspect of communication, respect, responsibility, honesty, love. And so if all these things are standing on a solid ground of ethics, a solid ground of values and virtues, then you are able to see the results of working as a community to be able to see, to show results. You've already talked about challenges and solutions when it comes to communication, but we also have common challenges in stakeholder engagement, and we have practical solutions to overcome them. In an active community, you will always have members who are experts. There are those that are active. There are those that are beginning the journey. There are those that are outside. We call them outsiders. And we have the transactional ones. We have the facilitators. We have the leaders. We have those that are at the periphery. We have the lurkers. You know, they are always looking at the other side. And because of this diversity, because of this aspect of having people of different characteristics, it is evident, or it is sure, that we will definitely have challenges. And if at all we have to work on these challenges to be able to overcome them, it's important to understand how best we can work to work in harmony, to work as a unit to be able to produce results. Capacity building is very, very important. Yeah, it is important to build the capacity of members as much as possible. I brought out these two pictures because at one end, I was building the capacity of regional directors of education and county directors of education in Kenya on education for sustainable development. Those are very senior people in the country. And on the other side, I was in a virtual meeting where my capacity was being built by the leaders of All Nations International. Yesterday, this was actually yesterday, where the leaders of All Nations International were taking us through what it requires to be a leader. And the same way, we can talk about capacity building. We have different tools and resources when it comes to effective stakeholder engagement. Fanuel, what can you say about these tools and resources?
Looking at this picture, it elicits a lot of reactions, if I would use that. It talks about, on one hand, I'm looking at it in terms of the current age, the aspect of digital tools. And in this respect, there's the mention of digital marketing, but there are different tools that we can use for stakeholder engagement. Let's look at even what we are doing right now. This is a multinational meeting, if I would call it that way. So different stakeholders in education, or specifically education for sustainable development, but we have got a digital tool that is facilitating our discussion, an online tool. So we are using Zoom, but over and above, there are so many other tools that we would use to engage people. We can have emails, conferences, Zoom conferences like we are doing, and there are also other tools that we could use like Google Meet and stuff. And so if we could be looking at how we can engage people, a few years ago, having this meeting would not be very possible because we'll be looking at the financial implications on it. and the travel that is involved. But the technology has made it easier that we can engage now. We can engage even post this meeting and in other sessions using the tools that we have. So we can build emails, we can have social media. These are also some of the things that have come in handy. There are people that personally I have met and we engage and we've never seen each other physically. Why? Because we have got such these forums that we can participate, and I have even worked with some people online and we've never seen each other, but still we have got good communication and work is done. So this would be the easiest that we can always run to whenever we are looking at how we can engage people, so that there's no excuse of how maybe we didn't have transport or something. But as long as somebody can be connected on the internet, then the world becomes a global village, just as technology has made it to be. You're on mute.
Thank you so much. And so I was saying, discovering and utilizing the right tools and resources can streamline stakeholder engagement processes and, of course, maximize impact. So identify the right tools and resources to use. And as we move on, it is also important to talk about monitoring and evaluation. We have different strategies of monitoring what we are doing. Regular monitoring and evaluation ensure that our efforts remain on track and enable us to adapt to changing circumstances. So when you are monitoring the process, it is important to report what you have found out. Don't just monitor, evaluate, and keep the results with you. Look for a platform and share your results. That is why we have the WhatsApp, for example, the WhatsApp group for ESD model centers and champions. You can share that after we did this and this and this is the result. This is the success story. So sharing is inspiring. Remember, in everything that you're doing, monitor the process, evaluate the process, and share the results. And at the end of it, celebrate success. It is important to celebrate success because celebration is very critical. Both big and small achievements need to be recognized. It is important to recognize the progress that we have made. It is important to recognize the victories. So celebrate. If you see the results, say you, as in enjoy, feel good that you saw the results. And as you talk about celebration, don't stop there. Continue improving yourself. Just like this plant, you know, there is growth, there is continual improvement to the point of seeing the sunflower. So continuous improvement requires you to plan, identify the problem, identify the challenge that you want to solve with whichever ESD project that you've settled on. Do, very important, test possible solutions. Try whatever you can try to work out a solution to that challenge. Check, that is what we were talking about, monitor and evaluation. Verify the effectiveness of what you have done and implement the best option. After implementing the best option, you don't stop there. You go back to the point of planning. After doing this, getting the results, we have celebrated. Is there any other challenge that we are seeing? Is there any other gap that we need to work on? And move on the stages round to the last and go round and round and round. It is important to better ourselves up all the time. And so the need for continuous improvement and adaptation in stakeholder engagement practices is very, very, very critical. Let's talk about engaging the next generation. Even as much as we are doing what we are doing, I will always talk about education for sustainable development is education that will enable us to meet our needs today without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. And so if at all we are talking about the future generation, it is important to involve them in whatever we are doing. If it is in a school, let it not be done by workers. Let it not be done by adults. If it is at home, involve them to do the household chores. Let them go to the garden. Yeah? Let them not sit there and you are there doing everything for them. So it is important to involve the youth in whatever we are doing. And remember, when you start the journey, as you involve the community, as you involve the stakeholders, you will always have these two distinct parts: the past, where you were before you engaged them, and the future, where you applied, where you involved the stakeholders correctly, and you have seen some results. And as you move on, don't give up in the middle. Press on until you see the results. And so as we talk about all that, it is important to explore the moral dimensions of sustainable development, because people with many different backgrounds and viewpoints must collaborate in order to come up with solutions to grand challenges plaguing the world today. Using ethics to help solve sustainability problems is one way to ensure that all of these voices are heard, including ones that may not be more difficult to take into account, such as those of plants, animals, and future generations. Ethics can be applied within the three pillars of sustainability, that is the social, the environmental, and the economic, and used to make sure that no view is overlooked. Remember the picture that I gave you, I showed you of case studies where I said at the bottom, the base, the root are the virtues, are the ethics. Very, very important when we are talking about bringing on board stakeholders and the community. A rational mindset and the use of systems is very, very important. It's now time to talk about questions, insights. It is your turn. Any insights? What have you picked? What have you learned? What are you taking home? Or we were just passing time? Let's take a moment and reflect on our discussion today. What insights or realizations have you gained about what we were learning?
Yeah, let me say something, Dr. Ari.
Yes.
I think mine is just to thank everybody. If I was saying what I've learned, I really cannot exhaust. But I think one thing that stands out is the essence of creating vibrant, active, and connected communities. Because this is something that is very close to my heart. Making community impact projects. That one of the things that I envision school students doing is creating community impact projects. And creating a community impact project cannot be possible if we don't have a close relationship with the communities in which we live in. And the process of making the relationship is climaxed by having good relationships and vibrant, active, and connected communities. And connection is important because it points to the last slide that we are talking about, the tools and resources for stakeholder engagement. Where we cannot connect physically, there are always digital tools. And a community could be the immediate community and could be the diaspora community, just like we have right now. So if we can plug into a program that helps us to connect locally and internationally, then that's just one of the, would become a fundamental point in building now the vibrant communities. And obviously it will mean that whatever that we are doing, we can showcase it to the world. After all, we are globalizing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One more person. What are you taking home?
Thank you, Dr. May I
Yes.
share something?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, I'm taking home Dr. communication and transparency. I realize without communication, I mean, nothing can move. So we have to communicate. And actually, after sharing all this, the ICT is really rich for each one of us. We can reach each other easily and then empower each other also very easily without a lot of financial, impact on it. Then with this communication also, the transparency is very, very important, so that we share with each other in mutual, in one-to-one hearts, like you're saying, mind, heart, hands, so that it will move. And then I finish by saying that, evaluate and communicate back. Thank you very much, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Remember Ubuntu? I am because you are. Any questions? Anybody with a question? Thank you so much for the insights on the chat. Thank you so much for appreciating what we are doing. There is a link there for you to register yourself, or if you've registered it before, just update. You say revise and then you update. If you've not registered, register yourself. Thank you so much. As we get to the end, reflection and action, very important. It is always important to reflect on the learning process, pause, reflect, and do something about what we have learned. Turning values into action plans and getting to involve stakeholders is very, very important. Be encouraged to take action and implement stakeholder engagement strategies in your own projects at home, at church, at school, and so on and so forth. And remember, we are looking forward for a better future. That is why we are volunteering. That is why we are taking time to be up till this time of the night to just talk about education for sustainable development. Thank you. Remember, there is sunshine at the end of it all. There is sunrise. Thank you for your active participation and thoughtful contributions today. As we conclude, reflect on our journey. Together, let's create a sustainable and ethical future, and remember to involve everyone in that community, in that institution, as you plan, up to the point of sharing the results and celebrating the success. Fanuel, you can give your last remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have had a very, very, very awesome discussion. And I think at every point, the take-home should be, how do we action it, and how does it contribute to us now creating in our model centers, creating that system that plugs into the local and the global community. I'd wish to have more and more of the same, because just as iron sharpens iron, I believe at the end we will have celebrations on the outcomes that we shall be doing. And in future, there's still great and great things to come. Thank you, Dr. and everybody else for being part of this initiative today.
Awesome. Remember, we can make a difference. Together, we can make a difference. Call us to come in and see what you are doing. Yeah? Ask for support. Ask for advice. If possible, plug us in and we will help you move your project forward and be able to see the results that we are talking about. So join us again next week, same time. Invite your colleagues, invite your friends, because this is a free Zoom learning session, and encourage everyone in your staff to join the meeting. Don't learn alone, because if many of you in your staff are learning, then it will be very easy for you to tell them to join you in the process of working on what you are working on. Thank you. I have seen my sister. Thank you so much, Damaris. Damaris is the firstborn in our home. You can see my family is here supporting what I am doing. Thank you so much. Oh my, you're making me miss home. Thank you. God bless you. And I love you all. See you again, same time, same place, next Sunday. And goodbye.
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 Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Kwaheri.
Merci beaucoup.
Buyamono.
Okay.
Eh,
Bye.
Origi.
Teddy, nice to
Good
see you.
night.
Oh my God, so many of you. God bless you, everyone. Thank you, our friends from Ghana. Thank you, our friends from Hove Tavelani. Where are you from? I wish we had time to just get to know who is in the house. Thank you so much.
I'm from Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe? Thank you.
Yes, from Zimbabwe.
Chahilu, where are you from? Chahilu?
From Kenya.
From Kenya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Who else is from another country that has not left?
Yeah, I'm from Kenya. Patrick from Kenya.
Patrick from Kenya. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a good night. Yeah.
Purity Kenya, I joined late. I'll follow up on the recording. We have a power problem. Power just came back from morning.
You're welcome, Purity. Thank you.
I was lucky to attend today, Christine.
Thank you, Sebi. Nice to see you. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Augustine from
Thank you,
Kenya.
Dr. Harun.
Bye. I've enjoyed the lesson today. Thank you.
Bye, Daktari. Thank you.